Terry Bradshaw, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and Lou Gehrig know what it's like to spend their entire career with one team. And then there are those superstars who found themselves donning a couple of different uniforms during their career. It happens. And then there are those other ones who found themselves with 4 or more uniforms. I'm Justin Fraction, and today TPS presents 10 sports legends that played for 4 or more teams. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. And a big shout out to Eklyps Stormborn for suggesting this list. We hope you enjoyed, and if you do, leave your ideas down below. You never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Number 10, Lenny Wilkens. This 9-time NBA All-Star is also remembered as one of the most influential basketball coaches in history, having racked up 1,332 career wins. Wilkens coached the Seattle Supersonics to the 1979 NBA championship, but of course he was also a career journeyman and one incredible basketball player. Wilkens began playing for the St. Louis Hawks in 1960 and he stayed there until '68. He then moved on to the Supersonics where he'd play until 1972. Wilkens was then traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers where he had a brief stint. He played his final season with the Portland Trail Blazers, then went on to become the iconic head coach that forever changed the game. Number 9, Greg Maddux. One of the most dominant starting pitchers in all of baseball history, Greg Maddux won 355 games, registered 371 strikeouts, and won 4 NL Cy Young Awards. Yet amazingly, this guy did more traveling than Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Maddux joined the Chicago Cubs in 1986 and played there until 1992. He signed up with the Atlanta Braves and wound up winning a World Series championship in 1995. Maddux rejoined the Cubs for the 2003 season, and that was followed up by a stop with the San Diego Padres sandwiched between 2 separate stints with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's a lot of moving around for a top 10 all-time pitcher. Number 8, Moses Malone. One of basketball's greatest centers to ever live, Moses Malone was a 12-time All-Star and captured 3 NBA MVP awards in his career. And yet, this NBA icon could never seem to make himself at home. Malone's NBA career began with the Houston Rockets in 1976, and he'd spent 6 seasons there. He was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers in a blockbuster deal and led him to the NBA championship in 1983. 3 years later, Malone was traded to the Washington Bullets. He spent 2 years in D.C. before signing a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Malone later had stops in Milwaukee and San Antonio, plus a return to Philly. Malone really put the journey into journeyman. Number 7, Randy Moss. The best wide receiver of all time, not named Jerry Rice. Moss burst into the scene as a rookie for the Minnesota Vikings in 1998, where they won 15 games and rewrote the record books. After 7 seasons in Minnie, Moss was traded to the Oakland Raiders in 2005. After 2 years there, he was dealt to the New England Patriots, where he and Tom Brady broke numerous scoring records. They reached Super Bowl 42 but fell to the New York Giants. After that, Moss had brief stops in Minnesota, Tennessee, and San Francisco. He retired after the 2012 season. Number 6, Jimmie Foxx. Few baseball players have ever displayed so much poise and power at the plate as Jimmie Foxx did. This 9-time All-Star racked up 534 home runs and 2,646 hits in his career. Foxx was a 3-time AL MVP winner, led the Philadelphia Athletics to a pair of world championships. He played with the organization from 1925 to 35, then came to moving around. Foxx would play for the Boston Red Sox from 1936 to 42, followed by a brief tenure with the Chicago Cubs. 1945 was Foxx's final season in the majors as he went to join the Philadelphia Phillies. Number 5, Brett Favre. Drafted by the Falcons in 1991, Brett Favre only had 4 pass attempts with the team that introduced him to the pros. He was traded to the Packers before the 1992 season, where he'd play for a decade and a half. Favre won 3 MVP awards, led the Packers to a Super Bowl 31 championship, plus an additional appearance in the big game. After contemplating retirement, Favre was traded to the New York Jets in 2008. He spent 1 season there before signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Favre spent his final 2 seasons in Minnie before retiring. Number 4, Jaromir Jagr. The great Czech sits all-time and career NHL points with 1,921. At this point in time, it's safe to say only Wayne Gretzky will stay ahead of Jaromir Jagr in career points. Jagr is also 3rd all-time in career goals. He won 5 scoring titles in the 1999 Hart Trophy as league MVP. Jagr also helped the Penguins win back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 91 and 92. Rather than narrate a novel, we'll just write out the 50,000 teams Jagr played for. Now that he's retired, Jagr can use all those air miles to travel the world 10 times over. Number 3, Deion Sanders. They call Prime Time the greatest cornerback in the history of football. Hard to disagree with that. The 8-time Pro Bowler was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons and played there from 1989 to 93. He became the ultimate bad guy by ditching Atlanta, signing with the San Francisco 49ers for the 1994 season, and then guiding them to a Super Bowl championship. Sanders then signed with the rival Dallas Cowboys, winning another Super Bowl and staying there until the end of the millennium. Prime Time played for the Washington Redskins in 2000 before retiring. He came out of retirement and played for the Baltimore Ravens in 2004 and 5. That's right. 5 teams employed Sanders, so he's on our list. Number 2, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq spent his first 4 seasons with the Orlando Magic, guiding them to the 1995 NBA Finals. They lost to the Houston Rockets, however, and the Magic would never be the same after that. Shaq signed a 7-year, $121 million contract with the Los Angeles Lakers in 1996. He and Kobe Bryant led them to a three-peat from 2000 to 2002. After falling out with the Lakers, Shaq was traded to the Miami Heat during the 2004 offseason. He won another title there in 2006 and stayed in South Beach until being dealt to the Phoenix Suns in 2008. That marked 4 teams. Shaq spent a short period of time in Cleveland before playing out his final season in Boston. Final total, 6 teams for Shaq Daddy. And number 1, Wayne Gretzky. The best hockey player in the world somehow didn't stick with 1 or 2 teams throughout his career. It's hard to understand, really. The Great One played with the Edmonton Oilers from 1979 to 88, leading them to 4 Stanley Cup championships. But Oilers owner Pete Pocklington made a grave mistake and dealt him to the Los Angeles Kings in the 1988 offseason, needing to secure money to save his failing businesses. Gretzky would play with the Kings until 1996 before getting traded to the St. Louis Blues at the deadline. Gretzky was signed with the New York Rangers that offseason. He played his final 3 years with the Blue Shirts before retiring in 1999. That's right, 4 teams for the Great One. Meanwhile, the likes of Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin have stayed with one team nearly a decade and a half into their careers. What other sports legends played for 4 or more teams? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. And subscribe. I have a cold. If you couldn't tell, just trying to push through this, man. And women, people, teens, adults, old men. I'm just like, what other sports legends? I don't know, man. I'll see you guys next time.